All right, get ready to dive in because today we're crafting a roadmap.
Ooh, roadmaps.
Right, not just any roadmap,
Okay.
a roadmap to your financial future.
I like it.
We've got a stack of interesting resources here about, this whole idea of building a personalized financial plan.
Yeah.
And I know for some people financial plan can sound about as exciting as like, I don't know.
Watching paint dry?
Yeah, exactly. Like who wants to do that?
Right.
But trust me, this isn't about like becoming a spreadsheet wizard overnight or anything like that.
No. It's about taking control,
Mm-hmm.
making your money work for you,
Yes.
whatever your goals might be.
I love that. So let's ditch the stuffy jargon for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's unpack this whole financial roadmap thing.
I'm into it.
We're talking about more than just a budget here,
Right
Richard.
here. Right.
This is about like getting intentional with your money
Yeah.
and making those informed decisions today to set yourself up for success tomorrow.
Exactly. Think of like all the things you dream of doing, big or small.
Okay.
Maybe it's early retirement. Maybe it's buying a house.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like, I don't know, finally learning to play the banjo, like whatever gets you fired up.
I love that.
A financial plan is like having this trusted GPS guiding you towards those goals,
Okay.
helping you navigate all those twists and turns along the way.
Ooh, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
The GPS for your life.
Right.
All right. But when we say personalized,
Yeah.
what does that actually look like in this context?
It means ditching the cookie cutter approach,
Sure.
right? This isn't about you fitting into someone else's mold.
Okay.
It's about understanding your values, your priorities, your dreams, and then crafting a plan that reflects that.
So unique.
That unique blend, yeah.
So where do we even start with all this? I know in this material they mention a bunch of different pieces.
Yeah.
We're talking budgeting, saving, investing, even something called estate planning. It feels like a lot to juggle.
It's true. There are several components,
Yeah.
but they all work together like gears in a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Budgeting is like understanding the fuel efficiency of your car.
Yeah.
Saving is consistently filling up the tank.
Okay. I like it.
Investing is choosing the scenic route to make that journey more enjoyable.
All right.
And estate planning, that's like having a backup plan in case, you hit a detour or something.
I'm already starting to see how these pieces connect. Like each one plays a crucial role in that overall journey.
They do, yeah.
But let's break it down even further because one thing this material mentions is this idea of the 50-30-20 rule when it comes to budgeting.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I've heard of this rule, but it always seemed a bit, I don't know.
Oversimplified.
Yeah. Like, is that truly the magic formula for everyone?
It's definitely a good starting point, you
Yeah.
know? Kind of like a basic recipe that you can tweak to your liking.
Okay.
So 50-30-20, 50% of your income for like housing, groceries, all those non-negotiables.
Those have to be paid.
Exactly. Then 30% goes towards wants.
Okay. Fun stuff.
Yeah. The fun stuff. Maybe it's travel. Maybe it's your daily gourmet coffee, concert tickets, whatever makes your heart sing.
Okay. Yep.
And the final 20% is dedicated to savings and debt repayment.
So it's not about deprivation.
No.
It's more about being mindful.
Being mindful, yeah.
And making sure that your spending actually aligns with what matters most to you.
Exactly.
But how do you actually personalize those percentages?
That's where it gets fun, yeah.
Yeah, like what if you're someone who really prioritizes experiences over, like, material things?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Let's say for you, travel is your jam.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You're willing to cut back in other areas to fund those adventures.
Makes sense.
You might choose to allocate a larger chunk of that wants category,
All right.
maybe even dipping into the needs category a bit if it means making those travel dreams a reality.
Okay.
Or let's say you're laser focused on paying off debt.
Mm-hmm.
You might temporarily shift more towards that 20% bucket.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The key is to find a balance that feels right for you.
So it's less about rigid rules
Yeah.
and more about understanding the framework and then customizing it based on your own circumstances, your own priorities. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. It's about you.
Now, what about those bigger goals?
Yeah.
Like buying a house or planning for retirement?
Yeah.
That's where things can feel a little more, I don't know, intimidating.
For sure.
Like, where do you even begin? Yeah, those big life goals, like, they can feel like, I don't know.
Like mountains.
Yeah. Like, where do you even start climbing?
Right. That's where having a roadmap is essential.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't set out on a cross-country road trip without mapping your route first.
True.
Financial goals, especially the big ones, they benefit from that same kind of thoughtful planning.
So how do we map out those financial road trips?
Okay, so this is where goal setting comes in.
Okay.
But we're not talking about, like, vague wishes here.
Right.
Like, oh, I want to be financially secure someday.
Yeah.
We're talking about getting SMART.
Okay. SMART goals. I've definitely heard that term thrown around before.
Sure.
But it always sounded a bit, I don't know, like corporate jargony to me.
Yeah, it sounds more complicated than it is.
Okay.
Think of SMART as an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay.
So let's say for you, your goal is buying a house, right?
Okay.
A SMART goal might be, I want to save $20,000 for a down payment on a condo within the next 3 years.
Okay.
See how that's different from just vaguely saying, I want to buy a house someday?
Wow. Yeah, that's night and day.
Right.
The SMART goal feels way more tangible,
Yeah.
almost like it's actually within reach because you've broken it down into these manageable chunks.
Exactly. And when you set those clear, concrete goals, it's amazing how those even small but consistent actions can really start to build momentum.
It's true.
It's like that saying, right? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
1,000 miles, yeah. But let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
Life isn't always a straight shot to your destination.
Unfortunately not, no.
Sometimes there are, like, detours, you know?
Yeah.
Unexpected roadblocks, maybe even, like, a scenic route that catches your eye.
Sure.
How do we make sure that our financial roadmap is, like, adaptable to all of that?
Yeah, so that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about, like, your financial plan being like a GPS?
Yeah.
Well, even the best GPS, they need to recalibrate sometimes.
Okay.
Life throws curveballs.
It does.
Maybe it's a job change.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an unexpected expense. Or, maybe even a happy detour like starting a family.
Right. Okay.
The key here is to build in some flexibility from the get-go and to regularly review your plan to make sure it still aligns with your current situation.
So you're not saying that we should, like, lock ourselves into some rigid plan in our 20s
No, not at all.
and just hope for the best?
No. Think of it more like a checkup,
Okay.
but with your finances.
Okay.
Just like you go to the doctor for regular checkups, to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Right.
You want to schedule those regular, like, money dates with yourself
Okay, I love that.
to review your budget, track your progress towards those goals, and then make adjustments as needed.
So money dates, I love that it takes the pressure off this big, scary thing and it makes it way more manageable.
Exactly.
Exactly. But how do we know when it's time for, like, a major financial pit stop?
Yeah, good question.
What are some of those life events, those milestones that might signal that it's time for us to reassess?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's very individual, but I can give you a few common ones. Getting married or entering into a domestic partnership, having children, receiving an inheritance, maybe starting your own business, or even something as simple as a significant raise or decrease in income.
Right.
These are all times where it makes sense to, like, dust off that financial roadmap and really see if it still aligns with your current needs and goals.
It's like hitting those major milestones on an actual road trip, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You might need to refuel or, like, grab a map or even, like, totally change your route based on new information.
Precisely. It's about being adaptable and proactive.
Okay, I'm feeling more empowered already.
Good.
But there's still this one part that always, like, trips me up a little bit.
Okay, what's that?
It's like, I get the theory, I understand the why behind having a financial plan.
Yeah.
But then I always get stuck on the how.
The how, yeah.
Like, where do you even begin putting this into action?
That's a really common hurdle.
Is it?
Yeah, and it often just comes down to feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But the good news is, taking that first step, it doesn't require a finance degree or anything.
Okay, good.
It's all about starting small and building momentum from there.
Okay, so what's, like, a concrete, manageable step that our listeners can take, like, today
Today.
to get the ball rolling?
Yeah, one powerful yet often overlooked action
Yeah.
is simply calculating your net worth.
Okay. Have you ever taken the time to do that?
I have.
Okay. I'll be honest. It's one of those things, like, I know I should do it, but I always have this, like, mental block around it. Like, what if the number scares me?
I get it. It can feel like a little vulnerable.
Yeah.
But you got to think of it like stepping on the scale at the doctor's office.
Okay.
It's just data,
Okay.
And that data can be incredibly empowering because it gives you this really clear picture of where you stand financially.
It's true. Knowledge is power.
It is.
Once you have that number, then you can actually start making more informed decisions about your finances. But even knowing your net worth, like, it still feels like there's this hurdle of, like, actually taking action, you know?
Right.
Well, it's like, what's another small step that we can take, like, today
Yeah.
that can make a big difference down the road?
Another, like, really great step is just setting up automatic savings contributions.
Okay.
You'd be surprised how much those, like, even small but consistent contributions can add up over time.
Yeah.
Especially when you factor in, the magic of compound interest.
Compound interest. Okay, so that's where things get really interesting.
It does get
It's like this snowball effect, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's basically earning interest on your interests.
Okay.
So think of it this way. You invest $100, it earns 5% interest, right? The next year, you're earning interest not just on that initial $100, but also on that $5 you earned in interest.
Oh, okay.
Because over time, those, like, even small gains start to compound, and it creates this, like, exponential growth.
So it's like free money.
It's like free money, yeah.
I'm sold on compound interest, but what if you're, like, starting from zero or, like, close to it?
Yeah.
It can feel kind of discouraging if you're not sure how to even start saving.
Yeah, and that's where, even small amounts can make a big difference.
Okay.
Like, even setting aside $10 or $20 a week can add up significantly over time. The key is just to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And make it a habit.
I think a lot of people get caught up in this idea that they need to make, like, these drastic changes overnight.
Right.
Or have a ton of money saved to even start investing.
Yeah, you don't.
But that's not true.
No, not at all. Financial planning, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
It's about those consistent, intentional actions over time,
Okay, love that.
It's not about being perfect or making these, like, huge leaps overnight.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It's been fun.
We covered so much ground from, understanding, like, the very basics of what a financial plan, even IS,
Yeah.
to, like, setting those SMART goals and even demystifying things like net worth and compound interest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember,
Yeah.
this is just the beginning of your financial journey,
It is.
There's so many resources available to help you along the way.
That's true.
Whether it's, financial advisors or books or even podcasts like this one.
Exactly. The most important thing is to just take that first step.
Yes.
And keep moving forward.
Keep that momentum going, yeah.
It's about, like, creating a plan that aligns with your goals and your priorities, and then having the courage to actually take action to make those dreams a reality.
So as you embark on this, like, exciting journey of financial empowerment,
Yes.
I'll leave you with this. What one small step will you commit to taking today?
Ooh.
To start building that financial future you envision?
That is a powerful question for all of us to ponder.
It is.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into your financial roadmap.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.